And hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Ricky Damiano podcast. Today's episode is going to be what does it take to charge an EV? In charging an EV, it kind of varies, but if you want the range, it depends on the range that you're getting, where you want to get. I charge mine to at least between 80 to 90, but we'll be going back down to between 80 and 85 for the summer. But I mean, you can charge it to 100 on occasion, but I don't recommend it because if you want, I mean, for the battery life, you want to keep it at on 80 but that sustains battery life. To but if you charge it to 100 all the time, I don't recommend it because then that will shorten the battery life on it. It just it, it's a lot of hard work for it, and it just depends on basically. It depends on how far you go. It depends on a whole lot of factors. It depends on how far you go. The range. It just all depends. But I maintaining it is not that. It takes a lot of hard work to do it. It takes a lot of hard work to to charge it. Maintain. What it takes to charge it. Um, it. Depending on how far you travel. I mean, I I basically only use 100 for like if I'm going on trips or like if I'm going out to North Canton, then I might sometimes use it. But I can get by pretty much going out to North Canton on like between um 80 and 90 I can do. But yeah, it's a lot of what it takes to charge it. You basically got. But they say you can charge to 100, but on occasion. And if you do charge it to 100, don't leave it sit at 100. If you charge it to 100, you have to drive it. You cannot leave it at 100. Or I charge mine basically to like 90 to around 90 for the winter months, and we also precondition it too. During the winter months, you have to make sure it's preconditioned. So yeah, a lot of hard work. It's not like a combustion engine where you can just start it, warm it up, and don't have to worry about doing nothing on it. But the EVs are a lot different than that because the EVs are a lot different than the combustion because there's a lot of work we got to do with them. We got to precondition them, especially if the temperature is like down like 45 at night. We have to go out there and precondition it to get it, to keep the batteries warm, to keep them warm. But that's the maintenance that we do on them. What it takes. It's a lot of hard. A lot of hard work because you have to make sure you plug it in. You can't let it get below 20, so you have to make sure you keep the charge. The battery. Well, it's not like your cell phone where you can charge it to like 100 every time. I charge my cell phone to 100 all the time. it's not like that. It's not like that at all. I mean, you can't do that with the EVs because that would shorten the battery life. I mean, they have a good battery life as long as you keep them that way. I mean, as long as you keep it that way, and as long as maintain it. I mean, as long as you, I mean, follow the rules with it, and I have and stuff. You gotta make sure you follow the rules with it, and you. I mean, I mean, it will. I mean, it'll last. I mean, the battery will last. I mean, the vehicle will last if you maintain battery health. I mean, maintain battery health, and make sure you do all the proper steps. And but they are good in the winter. They are good in the winter as long as you keep them well maintained. They are good in the winter. They will last in the winter. They will last, and they will not. I mean, I mean, like you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, they're junk in the winter." That's because they don't do their research. That's because they do not do their research when they buy the EV. They have to do the research on it, and how to prep it for the how to prep it for the winter. It's basically like if you have a gas powered boat, when you have to maintain winterize it. It's basically the same thing with an EV where you have to winterize it, especially for the winter. You have to make sure it's preconditioned to because in that way it keeps the battery on the batteries warm because we got two batteries on there. We have 12-volt that's up in the up in the hood, and then we got the battery pack underneath to to sustain the battery life, to extend the battery life. That's why we precondition it to extend the battery life. Because if you like, what to say, I just go ahead and let's say just go ahead and park it and not do anything to it. Probably over time, I will have to get a new battery over time because the old one, the battery that's in there, will die if you don't maintain it. So that's why I maintain mine. I was maintaining mine all winter. I was going through all winter and maintaining it, called preconditioning it, getting it preconditioned, because that way it will last. Because that's the number one key in in extending the EV's battery life, to extend its life, is you got to make sure you do that. You got to make sure you precondition it, and that way, when you do that, you're keeping the batteries warm, and at the same time, you're getting the cabin of the vehicle warm. So that way, when you go in, it's already warm. But you got to make sure you do that. You got to make sure that you precondition it, because if you don't, you could, and believe me, those batteries are not cheap. I mean, they can cost anywhere from $2,000 on up to get a new battery pack. And then you're looking at, it's not too easy. It's not easy doing that, because then you got to go in, and then you got to go in and redo everything. You got to go in, change the battery, and those batteries are not cheap. Those batteries, that's one big battery pack. That's not, like a small battery like up in front has the one that they use for jump start on the corner of the hood. That's inside the hood. This one is a big battery pack. It's like about like this big, it's about, size like this large here. It's not that easy to repair, because then they have to raise the car, up, drop the bottom. Basically, the battery pack is your chassis. The battery pack is simply your chassis, because the body sits on top of that. So that's basically your body. I mean, it's basic. That is basically the your battery pack is basically the chassis of the car. Basically, because that's where the body sits. It sits on top of the battery pack. It's just like remote control car. It's just like how remote control car does. Some of them have the battery pack. It's similar to that. It's similar to that, but in larger version. So when you see like a remote control car and it has some of them have that battery pack, that's how it is. That's how just picture that as a full size battery pack. So you can picture you can picture that as the full size battery pack. So yeah, I mean it's not cheap. I mean it's basically not cheap to have those. I mean those are not. I mean it's not cheap. If you really want to do EVing, if you really want to become an EVer, and I call it EVer. I mean, they have RV, so I figure, okay, they have RVing. Well, I call this EVing. But if you really want to do an EVing, be an EV, then you're gonna have to do some research. You're gonna have to do some research on it to get an idea on how they operate, and they have the charging. We're gonna talk more about that in tomorrow's broadcast. On tomorrow's episode, on you know level 1, level 2. We're gonna go over that tomorrow in tomorrow's episode. But right now we just want to go over the basics on what it takes to charge it. I mean, because you have to make sure that you charge them. They cannot sit. I mean, they cannot sit like a combustion engine does. I mean, a combustion engine, we can just go ahead, park them for the night, and that's about it. But with the electric vehicles, we can do that. We have to maintain a certain thing. We have to maintain. They have to be plugged in. They have to be plugged in, because if they're not, they will drain. Or I mean, they will vapor drain. They will do the vapor drain, and they will do the vapor drain. I mean, they will. So far, they can hold their charge, because mine does that. I go out at 3 a.m., come home, and it's on 80. So I just park it, and it stays on 80 the whole time. But I do plug it in though. I do plug it in, but sometimes I don't plug it in because it doesn't need it. And once it hits 80, it doesn't need it. But I try to maintain. And I try to keep it above a certain. I don't want to drop them below 20. I don't want. One time I got down to like 23. One time I did get down to 23, and I charged it right back up, because you don't want to get below. And yeah, even though the call outs have them at 15, but that's just because they don't want to get them stolen. That's why they put them at 15. But what they don't realize is they won't start without the key. They have to have the key fob with them in order for the EVs to start, because they're not like a combustion engine where you can just go in and hot wire it, or stuff like that. The EVs are not like that. They have to have the key fob in order for it to work. Because if not, then they won't start. I mean, so that's why I'm saying they won't start unless they have the key fob in them. You have to have the key fob on you, or in your pocket, or on you, in order for it to start. Because it won't start without it. It won't start without it, and it won't start with. It won't. It won't start. It won't start without the key fob. So yeah, it won't start without the key fob. So so as I'm saying, it won't start without that. So that's what I'm saying. So that's why. But it's a lot of hard. But it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of upkeep because you have to make sure that they plug it in, and it just depends on the range. It depends on how far you're going. And I mean, again, it varies. You can charge it to 100 on occasion. It's not going to hurt it. I mean, a lot of you thinking, well, if I charge it to 90, is it going to hurt? No, it's not going to hurt. I mean, as long as it doesn't sit, as long as it does not sit at 90, then you can. I mean, as long as it doesn't sit at 90, then you can. I mean, then you charge it to 90 or 95, or so ones out there who are afraid to do it, you can do it. You can charge it to 100 on occasion. I mean, but try not to do it all the time though, because it will shorten the battery life. I do like on occasion, but you can go up to 90 to 85, 80. But see, 80 is basically the recommended daily use. But but you can go up to 85, you can go to 90, but basically 80 is what the goal the goal is 80 for daily use, for daily drive. But I like to get more range out of mine, so that's why I charge it to I'm 90, because I like to get more range. Excuse me, because I mean 80 is nice, but it really doesn't have the range I need to go it does have the range, but I prefer really to charge it up to between like 85, 90 to get the range. And I do charge it to 100 on occasion, but only on occasion. And that's if I'm going like to North Canton, or if I'm going somewhere along, like if I'm going to Cuyahoga County, like if I'm going out to Willoughby, or if I'm going somewhere where I need the range, then I charge it to 100. But since I'm not going that far, and even I mean I have charged it to 90 on occasion and went out that far, and it was fine. So it's basically up to the EV owner. It's basically up to them how they want to do it. Theirs. I mean, we can only suggest to sustain the battery life to charge it to 80, and even tells you on there too to basically keep it on around 80 to sustain the battery life. But yeah, that's what basically says on there. I gotta see if this thing is even working. How's my audio? I gotta see. So how's my audio? Is anybody down there? How's my audio? I see it's working good. I see my audio is working good. I see my audio is working good now. Sweet. But yeah, but basically that's what I mean. It's that's what it takes to charge an EV up. That's what it takes to charge it, and it's just like. But I don't recommend doing. It's not like charging up your cell phone, because the cell phone we can charge to 100, and I charge mine to 100 all the time. But for an EV, you can't do that. Not all the time. You can charge it to 100 on occasion, but not all the time. Because then because if you do it all the time, that will shorten the battery life. That will shorten the battery life on it real quick if you do that. If you do that, that will shorten the battery life real quick on it. And that's not what you want to do. So I don't recommend charging it to 100, but it is okay to charge it. It is safe to charge it to 90 or 85 or 90 or 80 to 85, 90. It's safe to do that. It's safe to do that. It ain't gonna hurt it. I do it all the time. That's fine. I mean, I do it all the time, and it doesn't hurt a thing. So a lot of you who are afraid to do it. So a lot of you out there who are afraid to do it, who's afraid to charge it to 90 or 85 or 100. For those of you out there who are afraid to do it, I'm telling you from an EV's owner standpoint, from my standpoint, it's safe to do it. It's not going to hurt it. As long as you don't leave it at that. As long as you don't leave it at that level, like if you charge it to 100 and you just park it and leave it, then yeah, then it'll hurt it. Because if it's not being moved, if it's just sitting there, it's not like gas powered vehicle. It ain't like a combustion engine where it can just sit for days. Days like a combustion engine, you can fill a tank up to a full tank and have it just park and sit. But an EV ain't like that. An EV you do that on, and you shorten the battery life, you will completely shorten the battery life to the point where it will not even it won't basically you'll ruin the battery. You'll completely shorten the battery life. You'll completely ruin it if it sits. If you basically just you can charge it to 100, but as long as you are moving, as long as you're driving it and not sitting. If you do that, then you're showing the battery life on it, and that's not what we. That's not. It's not. And it's not what. And that's not what we need on there. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome, Scuba Diver. But yeah, again, you're welcome on that. But yeah, but now I'm glad I can help you on that one. But yeah, I mean, you just can't do that. You have to make sure you. I mean, basically, you just gotta make sure it doesn't sit. I mean, you can charge it to 100 on occasion, as long as it does not. Long as it does not sit, uh, you can do that. Um, but other than that, I mean, that's what it takes to charge it. I mean, you have to have the well the charging port. Not like you on the plug. The plug does come with the vehicle. The plug does come with the Chevy Equinox EV. The plug does come with it. You have the level 2, level 1, which we'll go over that on tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow night, tomorrow night at let's see, I say tomorrow night at 10 o'clock because I'm in church tomorrow night, so it'll be tomorrow night at 10. That they'll do a podcast tomorrow night for the next episode. Episode number 3. It's covering episode number 3 tomorrow night at 10. So yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that's why it's very important that we that's why it's very important that you do your research on EVs, because it's they're fun if you know how to upkeep them, if you know how to maintain them, upkeep them. They're basically fun if you know how to upkeep them. If you know how to upkeep, if you know how to operate them, they're all cost efficient because they don't have no gas. They're all electric, which is very good. But if you just do your research, just do your research. Don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged about them. Don't get stressed out about them. Don't get stressed out. Just do your research on them. Do your research on them, and that way, you know how to do it. Because I'm gonna tell you a story that when I got mine. When I first got my EV, I did that same thing. I wasn't sure I wasn't sure what that was. Well, it's the preconditioning. I'm like, what's preconditioning? What's that? And then I did some research on it, and I found out by preconditioning it, that helps the batteries stay warm. By the batteries staying warm, that helps the batteries to stay warm. And it also gets the cabin of the vehicle nice and warm too. See, I didn't know that when I first got my EV. I know that. until I um, did my research on it. Until I did my research and watched, videos. I watched like other YouTube videos on it. I did my research on them. I mean, if anybody has any questions or comments, they can leave them in the chat. They can put them in the live chat there, and and I'll try to answer them. Because I'm still learning on EVs. I mean, I'm still learning on EV2. I'm still learning on that too, on how to, on what it. I mean, I'm still learning on it, and I didn't know. I mean, how to do basically anything on it. I mean, because I was still new to it, so I was in the same boat as some of you guys, as some of my viewers are. On like my charger to this is going to hood it. I mean, I had that same thing too. I had that same thing too on it when I first did it, and then once I did my research on it, then I realized, oh wow. I mean, it's kind of cool then. So then I did my research on it, and then I found out they had to precondition it during the winter months. So I go out like every night to precondition it when it needs to. But once the summertime comes, I probably won't be preconditioning it now until winter of 26th, and that's when I will precondition it. I might precondition it during for the summer months. I might do that. I mean, I might I might still precondition it because of the hot summer coming up, to get the cabin cool, to get the cabin or the air conditioner. I might do that. But other than that, I mean, really, that's basically really all you have to do with it, really, because it doesn't have any oil. It doesn't have, the only thing it has is the transmission fluid, but that's just to lubricate the gears. That's just to keep the gears lubricant, because we are the electric motor. So basically, we don't have any. I mean, we don't have a transmission. We don't have that. We're just basically an EV. I mean, all electric. I mean, basically the transmission fluid is there just to lubricant the gears, to keep the gears smooth, to keep them not to where they're messing up and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying is that, and then we do have the washer fluid, the windshield washer fluid. We have the brake fluid because we do have brakes, so we do have the brake fluid. But the brakes are really not that high maintenance as we find on the combustion engine. They really don't. They basically really don't go. They basically don't wear and tear as much as a combustion engine does. They really don't do like that. They really don't do like a combustion engine does. I mean, the combustion engine's brakes go through a lot of brakes right off the bat. They go through brakes right off the bat. They go through brake order. They go through everything. But for a EV, I'm really impressed on how the brakes are working. I'm really impressed on how the brakes are lasting. Because this is the first time I have not had to do any. I mean, this is basically the first time I have not had to do any any brakes. Basically, I hadn't had to do any brakes on the basically. So yeah, I mean, basically, I've not had to do any brakes on there. Basically, I've not had to do any of that on there. And that's a good thing about the EVs is they do not go through brakes. They have congestive braking, so they really. I mean, you can hit. I mean, you can hit them as hard as you can, and they don't. I check my brake rotor, and it's still clean. But yeah, I've been driving it, but the brakes are still clean. That's because they don't use that much braking power, and they don't go through brakes that much because of what they are. They don't go through brakes that much because of what they are. So but yeah, that's about all the time we have for today's show. For today's broadcast, well, for today's podcast, that's about all the time we have for today. Tune in tomorrow night for another episode at 10 p.m. So tune back in tomorrow night, and we'll have another episode of the Ricky Damiano podcast. So until then, I'll see everybody tomorrow night at 10 p.m.